All right, hello again, everybody. So back today because wanted to answer a question that was asked on one of my videos. Um, at Ramo Bean Ash Chef or whatever the fuck that. I'm sorry, man. Like that's just a complicated ass username. Don't know why. Uh, but hey, you commented on the She-Hulk review, and you asked if it's not too much trouble, could I make a video explaining or recommending DC Comics essential storylines from 1986 to 2011? Because in previous DC Comics videos, I have suggested, I know I've flat out stated that that's the golden era of DC, and so it sounds like you're looking for a like essential reading guide. Well, I've got that for you in a couple different formats. So, the first one is this, and this is the most like hardcore uh, way to go about doing it. Like you will cross all the T's and dot all the I's if you follow this. This website collected editions. There's the URL up there if you want to pause the video and copy it down. Uh, this is a completely, very thoroughly put together trade paperback reading guide for all of DC. Here's each like main highlighted category. It starts with Legends, which was the first like crossover event after Crisis on Infinite Earths in 1986. As you can see, it takes you all the way up to Flashpoint through the New 52 into Rebirth and yada yada. So, yeah, you could go about it like this if you wanted to, and it really is going to give you absolutely every single thing to read. And these are in trade paperback form, like Batman Year One, Catwoman, Her Sister's Keeper, Superman, The Man of Steel Volume One, and all of these, especially like you see they're like highlighted in blue. These are links, and if you open them, it takes you to the Amazon page where you can buy it. Now, if I'm not mistaken here, let's try a different one. Yeah, it takes you to Amazon where you can buy the graphic novel, or you can find it online to read digitally. So yeah, this is a very thorough guide, and he's got little descriptive paragraphs between different chunks, telling you like, okay, technically this takes place at the same time as this, but we put it here for this reason, and blah blah blah. This is a very thoroughly put together guide. I have found zero flaws or continuity errors with this guide. It is probably the most well constructed DC reading comics reading guide that exists. Whoever makes this, whoever runs this website, does a really good job, and this is really well thought out. So you can follow this all the way through the era that you're talking about. This is basically the perfect guide. So that's if you want to read absolutely everything. Another way that I like to go about it, or that I used to go about it in the past, was just the Wikipedia page for the publication history of DC Comics crossover events. One of the tabs here is Crisis on Infinite Earths and Post Crisis. And when I talk about the golden era being 1986 to 2011, I'm talking like I'm talking about the post Crisis on Infinite Earths DC universe, from the very end of Crisis on Infinite Earths all the way up to what was the last, I think Brightest Day was the last like event type thing before Flashpoint kind of fucked everything up. Excuse me. So yeah, you just come to this page, search this in Google, it'll bring it up. Come to this page, Crisis on Infinite Earths. If you want to read Crisis on Infinite Earths, go ahead. It is a kind of outdated read. The style of writing and the dialogue is really kind of not aging well. It's corny and cheesy, and uh, this is one of those stories. It's similar to the death of Superman in that the company did it for a business goal. You know, they did the death of Superman to create shock value and make money, and ultimately they did this story for the same reason. It was, we needed to do a big event that causes the entire DC continuity to get reset. That way we can make our continuity much more appealing to new readers, and we can make more money that way. And that's really what this was designed to do. I'm not saying don't read it. If you want to read it, go ahead, but you can skip it. Yeah. So then you can just follow this. Like I said, the next one is Legends, and it goes through each one of these is a major crossover event in DC. Some of them are bigger than others, like Invasion, Armageddon, a lot of these like Bloodlines. Let's see if I can, Zero Hour Crisis in Time. These are big crossover events. And it even includes some of the more character-specific crossover events like Batman Nightfall is listed in here. What else? I think there was some Death of Superman's right there, you know, blah, blah, blah. Final Night, Batman Contagion, it's all in here. So you can basically follow this as well. They're listed in order by publication. And yeah, this is not a bad guide. It's not as thoroughly put together as the trade paperback guide here, but it's not bad. So if you follow all this from, you know, like I said, Legends 1986 all the way down to through 2011, this could also do a pretty good job for you. Now, one of the things, the final way I'm going to suggest you do this is my personal um, essential reading list that I have for myself. And the way I made this list is I often cite that the DC animated universe is the definitive version of DC, and I stand by that statement quite a bit. But every single thing that's ever been adapted into animation from, you know, every single DC story that's been adapted for animation, uh, you know, there's an animated movie or animated series about, it comes from some kind of comic book inspiration more often than not. So what I did was I kind of looked over every single piece of DC animation, whether it be the DC animated universe, the animated original movies, everything, and I did my best to kind of track down and figure out what comic book storylines were used for inspiration to make those animated movies and animated series, and this is the list right here. So I'm going to kind of scroll down here. I'm going to pause on each little section in case you want to like screenshot it or copy it down. Batman Year One is where we start with, as always. Going down, New Teen Titans Volume 1 through 14. Here's the next chunk, and then this JLA series by Grant Morrison, this is heavily what was used as inspiration for the Justice League animated series. So you're definitely going to want to read all of this. This is a lot of where that comes from. And once again, like, this is not an official guide. This is, you know, this is just my list. I put this together. This is my essential reading list. So this is every single comic book storyline, story arc that I see having been used as inspiration for some animated movie or animated series. Excuse me. I am getting over a cold. Yep. So that's about it. The Ron Thanagar War and Green Lantern Emerald Twilight and whatnot, those being kind of the newest ones. The Ron Thanagar War, especially with the new Green Lantern Beware My Power movie. So yeah, those are the three ways. Those are the three essential reading guides suggestions that I have for you. And it just depends on how deep you want to go and how what's the word I'm looking for? How exact do you want to be? Do you want to read every little thing and read it in the exact proper order? Because if that's the case, you're going to want to go into that collected editions web page and look at their DC trade paperback guide that I had up. If you just want to read the stuff that has been used to make animated stuff, then go with my list. Other than that, the Wikipedia one's not a bad option either. But yeah, that's my advice for essential DC comics reading guide. One of those three methods. So take that for what you will. I hope this helps you out. If you have any more questions, please comment, subscribe for those of you who haven't, please. And other than that, see you guys later.